Exploring unknown tech, decoding future unicorns. Welcome to ProductX, I'm Rena. Today we're breaking down a funding story that's sending shockwaves through the cybersecurity world. A startup called Abstract just closed a $25 million round, tripling their valuation, and they're reporting a mind-blowing 264% net revenue retention. That's not a typo. Vivian, want to kick us off?
Hey Rena, hey Nolan, good to be here. I'm Vivian. I work with Pre-Angel Fund as an angel investor focused on enterprise SaaS. And honestly, when I saw those NRR numbers, I had to double-check the math because 264% in B2B security is absolutely insane.
Nolan, your turn.
Hey everyone, I'm Nolan. I spent years building systems at some of the big tech companies in Silicon Valley, mostly dealing with distributed architecture and real-time data pipelines. And I'm here for the tech behind this because Abstract's architecture is doing something I've been wanting to see for a long time.
Awesome. So, here's the puzzle. Legacy SIEMs like Splunk have had enterprises locked into volume-based billing for 20 years. Now Abstract comes along with this composable security model and drops a 264% NRR. Vivian, let's start with you. What exactly is the capital market buying here? What's the business logic behind that number?
Here's the thing. That 264% NRR doesn't just mean customers are staying. It means they're aggressively expanding spend. In enterprise SaaS, a 120% NRR is already considered elite. What Abstract figured out is how to flip the economic model entirely. Under legacy SIEMs, security budgets get hijacked by storage costs. Every time a company spins up a new cloud instance, log volume doubles, and they get hit with these massive data tolls. But here's the kicker. 99% of those logs just sit in cold storage, doing nothing. Abstract comes in and says, look, keep using your existing AWS or Snowflake for cheap storage. We'll sit in the middle, run the detection while data is in motion, and through data tiering and pipeline scrubbing, we can cut your legacy SIEM storage bills by 40% to 60%. Then, we take a slice of those savings as our software margin. That's the engine driving that 264% NRR.
Wait, I want to add something here because this isn't just about cost savings. The technical architecture is what makes this possible. Legacy detection works like this. You ingest data, parse it, index it, write to disk, then run queries. By the time you detect a threat, we're talking minutes to hours of latency. Abstract flips that completely. Their streaming first pipeline processes data the moment it leaves the endpoint. Detection runs in milliseconds while the data is still in flight. No disk writes, no waiting. That's a generational leap from post-storage query to in-stream execution.
Nolan, that's a great point. Let's dig deeper into the architecture. What are the core engineering challenges they had to solve to make millisecond detection work at enterprise scale?
3 big ones. First, they built a stateless streaming rule engine with windowed compute. How do you detect complex attack chains spanning several minutes without writing to disk? They use sliding time windows in memory. The AI rule engine resolves correlations in milliseconds. Second, dynamic schema translation. Log formats across security tools are a mess. Abstract's translation engine scrubs logs into OCSF format in real time before data exits the stream. That shatters vendor lock-in because now data routes cleanly to any data lake. Third, Astro AI. Most security tools just slap a chatbot onto a dashboard. Astro AI is woven across the entire SOC workflow. Detection, triage, investigation, response. When in-stream detection catches something, analysts get a fully synthesized investigative dossier, not raw logs.
Let me jump in here because this ties directly to the commercial angle. Once you understand that OCSF translation capability, you see why Cheyenne Ventures and AVP jumped in. Enterprise clients are refusing to be held hostage by monolithic platforms. Abstract fits perfectly with the broader shift toward modular, composable IT architecture. And the funding gives them runway to capture this momentum. With $25 million, they can scale engineering to handle extreme throughput. When a big enterprise faces a DDoS attack, generating millions of events per second, that's the real test.
Absolutely. So, let's talk about that test. Vivian, from the investor perspective, what are the red flags or watch-outs when a company is growing this fast with these kinds of metrics?
The biggest risk is scaling the delivery engine. You can have amazing metrics on paper, but can you actually onboard enterprise clients faster than they churn? The 264% NRR is incredible, but it only matters if they can keep that expansion velocity while adding new logos. Also, enterprise security is a relationship business. Abstract needs to prove they can land and expand at Fortune 500 scale, not just with mid-market companies. The technical moat is real, but the go-to-market execution is where we'll see if this holds.
I see it differently on the technical side. The engineering challenge isn't just throughput. It's zero loss under extreme load. When you're doing in-stream detection at millisecond latency, one missed signal during a log tsunami could mean a breach goes unnoticed. The pressure on the streaming nodes is enormous.
Good tension there. Nolan, you mentioned OCSF and vendor lock-in. Can you explain why the schema translation piece matters so much for enterprises considering abstract?
Here's why it matters. Every security tool speaks a different language. Splunk uses one schema, Palo Alto uses another, CrowdStrike uses yet another. Legacy SIEMs force you to normalize everything into their proprietary format, which creates massive lock-in and translation overhead. Abstract's approach is different. They translate everything to OCSF on egress. That means enterprises own their data in a standard format. They can swap out back-end storage, switch analytics platforms, whatever they want. The data stays portable. That's huge for long-term TCO.
And from the commercial side, that portability is exactly what enterprises want to hear. They're tired of being told, "Oh, sorry, your data is trapped in our proprietary format, so you're stuck with us for another 3 years." Abstract's model lets them walk away if the product doesn't deliver. That's a selling point.
This is really fascinating. Let's shift gears to the competitive landscape. How does Abstract stack up against the legacy players like Splunk and the newer cloud SIEMs?
The comparison is stark. Legacy SIEMs are tightly coupled to proprietary databases with exorbitant storage costs. Cloud SIEMs decouple storage but lack deep detection capabilities. Abstract does both. Abstract, millisecond in-stream detection while data is in motion, plus fully decoupled storage via OCSF routing. And the AI integration isn't surface level. Astro AI is native across the entire SOC pipeline. That's fundamentally different from competitors who just bolt on a chat interface. The architectural difference is night and day.
The commercial model tells the story too. Legacy players bill by ingestion volume, which creates this perverse incentive where more data equals more revenue for them but pain for the customer. Abstract's subscription-based modular composition flips that. Their success aligns with customer TCO reduction. That's a much healthier relationship.
Okay, lightning round time. Quick fire questions. First one, what's the most surprising thing about Abstract's growth story?
The speed. They went from founding in 2023 to nearly $50 million raised with these metrics in under 2 years. That's fast even by startup standards.
The architecture. Seeing a startup pull off in-stream detection at this scale with a fully composable design. That's usually enterprise-grade stuff.
Second question, biggest myth about the SIEM market that people still believe?
That volume-based billing is inevitable. It's not a law of nature. It's a business model choice that enterprises are increasingly rejecting.
That you need to sacrifice speed for scale. Abstract proves you can have both with the right architecture.
Third, if you could ask Abstract's founders one question, what would it be?
How do you plan to scale the customer success team fast enough to support that NRR? That's the bottleneck.
How are you approaching the zero loss guarantee under DDoS conditions? That's the technical hard part.
Fourth, what's one thing legacy SIEM vendors are definitely not telling their customers?
That 70% of their data ingestion is probably never queried or analyzed. It's just sitting there costing money.
That their detection latency creates a massive window for attackers to operate undetected.
Last one, hot take time. Will composable security become the new standard in 5 years?
Absolutely. The economic and technical forces are aligned. We're watching the monolithic era end.
Yes, but it won't happen overnight. Legacy systems have massive inertia. It's a multi-year transition.
Vivian, give us a one-sentence summary of today's topic.
Abstract's 264% NRR proves that by decoupling detection from storage and delivering massive cost reductions to customers, composable security isn't just a technical trend. It's the new economic engine for enterprise SaaS.
Nolan, your one-sentence summary.
The architecture shift from post-storage query to in-stream millisecond detection with native AI across the SOC pipeline represents the most significant rewrite of security operations in 20 years.
That's a wrap. Thanks to Vivian for breaking down the capital strategy and NRR math. And Nolan for the hardcore, architectural deep dive. If you want to understand why the SOC world is undergoing its biggest transformation in 2 decades, just remember 2 words: data in motion. Thanks for listening. See you next time.